After three friends move into a house, they stumble across the legend of the Bye Bye Man. Now it's a race against time as we must figure out how to stop this curse before it kills them all. Hello, everyone. I'm Caleb J,
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
and welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Bad. Today, I already kind of mentioned in the plot synopsis, this was actually one of the more horror plot synopses to come up with somehow in this movie. We'll be talking about the horror film The Bye Bye Man. Like most films released in the month of January and February, it would get dumped out to the public to face a horrendously negative reception. Critics and audiences did come together, they united and agreed on their general dislike for the film. Now, I just want to quickly put this out there, and it will not change how me and Connor feel about this film one bit. But on a bit of a somber note, it would be the final film directed from Stacy Title due to her untimely death in 2021 after a long battle with ALS. Now that we've let that sunk in, back to shitting on this film. Connor, you with the scores.
Yeah, this is not the best swan song one could have, frankly. This is sitting at an 18% Rotten Tomatoes score, a 22% audience score. Pretty reviled on both sides of the aisle here. Curtis consensus reads, The Bye Bye Man clumsily mashes together elements from better horror films, adding up to a derivative effort as short on originality as it is on narrative coherency or satisfying scares. That is the nail on the head right there. I buy that entirely. This is, a patchwork quilt of better shit that won't keep you warm at night.
Yeah, I look. So I watched. I this is my second time watching. I've watched it once when it was on Hulu one day. So I was like, oh, why not? Deeply regretted it. And then when I watched it again, I watched this on Monday. And for those who probably haven't figured out, I live in Virginia, and as a lot of people know, Hurricane Ian made its way along the East Coast. Luckily, Virginia only really got the storm. Not a big deal, right? But man, Sunday night, because the remnants were coming back down, they put out like, hey, there's a major tidal flood warning in effect for all of the area, blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching this film when that effect was in place. And all I could think was like, if I get fucking flooded and swept away, and this is the last film I watch for the content, I'm going to be so pissed. Luckily, it's shifted, the storm shifted, and they dropped our warning, but not the last film I had to go out on. Thank God.
Yeah, that would have actually been. I mean, you dead would have been horrible, but the situation, I'm sure 20 years from now, I would look back on it and laugh.
That's all I ask.
Ugh. Yeah.
It, yeah, dude. So I as a long time, any film fan knows, and I do think it's kind of changed though in recent years, things like streaming, and obviously Marvel's pulled that game before where they've actually released their movies in February and stuff. Um, but for a long time, it's like every single film guaranteed coming out in the months of January and February, especially horror films, were like the ones the studios couldn't decide what to do with. They didn't like it, so they dump it out there because it's a quick buck. Because hey, there's nothing else out. People want to go see a fucking movie, so you'll pay to see this. They make a quick buck, and it can be forgotten about. And this is literally how I felt about watching this whole goddamn. I'm like, you guys just dumped this out because you could not figure out what to do with the goddamn movie.
Yeah, I was born in January, so my birthday, was on the 12th, and as a kid, I liked, I wanted to go to the movies with my friends for my birthday, but it was never anything good out. I always had to do like, run over or run off from December and something that I'd already seen that was good. And I remember like the last time I did that was National Treasure Book of Secrets, which I like, but wish I'd had options. Never had options because I was born in Dumpuary. Sucks.
Yeah, like I said, there's been a changing tide. I think thanks to the streamers big time. And like I said, Marvel. I know. I think Black Panther was actually released in February, or they've done some big hitters in the early months every so often.
February to a lesser extent. I've always considered it just January. Like I think, we've seen in our lifetime February kind of become a viable film month. Like, Black Panther definitely was a big one.
Yeah.
January though still has this rep.
Yeah, I wish it would just fully go away and studios would just do the same. They just release films throughout the year without worrying about what's a summer film, what's a adult film, what's an Oscar film. Just release the fucking film. I understand certain things, like obviously, like we talked about with Hocus Pocus, like why would you release that fucking film in July? That was stupid. So I definitely get in these some cases of like obviously a time release does work. Like if you're, obviously like Halloween Ends comes out this month, right? It makes sense to be like, hey, it's a Halloween film, let's do it for October. That makes sense. Hey, it's like we got this Christmas film coming out, like Krampus or Black Christmas 2019, like let's do it for Christmas. That makes sense. But other than that, like stop worrying about when to release your film and having going, well, if it's bad, we'll just wait till January. Dump it out then, we'll make a quick buck.
How about instead you just, work on the bad movie and make it better and then release it, release a product you're proud of. I hate that there's some movies that are just write-offs to studios. They're like, we made it. It doesn't work. And throw it in January.
Yeah, or sell it to the streamers. That's another big one. Oh, we'll just give it to the streamers.
Yeah. The peasants down below eating the scraps from the lords and ladies. Like, it's not what it's like, but big studios still think that's what it's like.
Yeah. And then obviously if you're fucking Warner Bros right now, you don't even release your film. You're like, no one needs to see that. And you just bury it for no one to see.
If whatever studio made this, I don't know off the top of my head, if they can release the Bye Bye Man and still make an actual profit, give Batgirl a chance. Come on.
There's some films when people dude, okay, quick slight little rant. The amount of obviously like Facebook and Twitter comments, people being like, a lot of people are obviously of the same mindset, like, no, they should have released the film. But then you got that select group of fucking assholes online. They're like, well, no, it's probably good. That just means it was that bad that they had to shelve it. I'm like, you guys are fucking morons. I was like, if films like this and 2020 is the fucking Grudge can come out and make even a remote profit, fuck off. Batgirl stood a chance.
I watched an interview with Brendan Fraser and Darren Aronofsky over The Whale, and the interviewer asked him, so what do you have going on next? And Aronofsky was like, I've got a play I'm working on something. And Fraser went, Batgirl. Oh. Like stopped himself like, oh. Inside voice talking outside there, and they all started laughing. So at least he's taking it in stride, but we could have seen Brendan Fraser as a Batman villain. And the fact that I got that taken away from me, I will never be okay with that.
No, never. And it especially hurts because that means DC, he must love working with them, right? Because they gave him Doom Patrol, right? And he's fucking awesome on Doom Patrol. So clearly, as DC exec went like, hey, we really like working with him. We think he'd be good. Let's see if we can get him to play this part also. So there was a good fucking studio actor relationship literally developing before our very eyes, giving us Brendan Fraser. And one guy was like, I don't like this film the way it's looking. I'm getting rid of it. No one can watch it.
Yeah.
I was about to actually make that noise myself.
Reminds me of the scene. You ever see The Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
Remember when the fireworks store explodes and he's in front of it going, please disperse. There's nothing to see here as the building is completely exploding. That's been DC for the past year.
Oh, now it's extended to WB itself. Now it's just
that's what I meant. Yeah, WB the past year.
I was gonna say, now it's WB, just something like nothing to see here.
It's insane. It's and then for Zaslav to be like, we are not gonna sell. Like, we're a proud company. We know what we're doing. It's like, who are you speaking on behalf of? Because no one else is on your side, man.
No, I'm like, you have people leaving your studio. It's bad over. It's fucking. I never talked about this before. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's hard not to talk about the skyscraper on fire when the skyscraper is not going out and it's constantly burning, and more shit keeps coming out. It's hard to just let that happen without talking about it.
Yeah. And it's so funny because we sat here thinking, like, like, oh no, Disney's buying Fox. And, obviously, I would like for all these studios to still exist. So there's obviously healthy competition and things like that. I get that. But hey, Disney's been, to me, doing a great job with their handling of what they bought. Like, they have I recently listened to Zach Krieger, who did Barbarian, talk about his experience, because, as for those who don't know, Barbarian, Disney film, under the 20th Century Studio arm, and he actually talked about they believed in the film. They picked it up when all these other studios told him no to his script. They believed in him enough. They, at no point, unlike what you always hear about Warner Bros. Coming in and telling the people what to do, and now with this Zaslav guy, at no point, and keep in mind, this is fucking Disney. At no point did anyone critique the way he made his film. They asked him, like, did they, on the interview, like, Disney ever come? He's like, no. He's like, they let me make the movie I want to make. They didn't even give me notes or anything. They let me do my thing. And then the trailer we got, Disney did that fucking trailer. He said that he was making his, and also Disney's like, he showed it and they were like, oh, hey, we have this one we made. You want to look at that? Mm-hmm. And he goes, holy shit, this is a good trailer. So, like, yeah, so, like, that's where it works, right? I know we were all worried about that one, but it's, like, working because, from what I'm hearing, they let their creators create, they back off, and the only thing I think Disney does, but when it comes to the 20th Century Studio thing, is they decide, hey, is this going to be a Hulu exclusive, or are we going to do theatrical? Like, what can we do? And that's probably, like, them talking to, like, the producers and hashing all that out.
Yeah, the money should just finance and then just be hands off. Let the creator make what you paid for. That's what it should always be like, but unfortunately, no. Anyway,
WB. Yeah, and obviously Prime is, I guess, doing good with MGM so far. They haven't really done anything to hinder their, the James Bond franchise. I saw that they just advertised on my Fire Stick. They're like, we have all the James Bonds now on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, oh shit,
isn't that nice? And me over here with my Blu-ray box set. I can watch them whenever I want, but good for them. Yeah,
I mean, I got my Blu-ray box set also, but
it's nice to know that like, I'll never wake up and that just won't be on my shelf. That's why I still buy physical copies, because I know that'll never happen.
Can you imagine if that's how physical copies work? You just wake up, you're like, something's missing here.
It's like half the collection's been repoed because the studio got bought. People just walk into your house and start taking your movies.
All right, we gotta take this one and this one.
I just picture it's like, when people, like, repossess your furniture, they're like, I got an order here for 17 MGM horror films. Sign here, please. God, that'd be annoying.
You thought you were going to keep Grindhouse. We're taking it back.
Oh, anyway, yeah. This isn't going away. So this is going to keep coming up on all of our shows, because frankly, it's just astonishing.
Yeah. And it doesn't, the fire hasn't died. It's a forest fire at this point. It just keeps spreading.
I keep picturing the towering inferno in, like, the second half, when the whole damn thing is just up in flames and Steve McQueen can't do fuck all about it.
And Zaslav is in front of that with an amount of cocaine in front of his face.
Yeah.
On a different note, talking about the Bye Bye Man. So I had a question involving our feelings on films on the whole studio system with January and February that month. But then yesterday, I can't remember a better question, because as anyone who's has sat through this film knows, it deals with essentially an urban legend, which is what sparked my idea for this question. A little bit of a two-parter. First one being to you, Connor, are there any urban legends you would like to see? And I mean, obviously your classics, but obviously, like, things like creepypastas, things like that. Anything you can think of. Urban legends you would like to see in a film or show that we haven't gotten yet. And if we have already gotten it, is it something you want in a better movie or show? Like, were you not pleased with what you got?
Interesting. Urban legends are always, a good mine for creepy stories, mostly because, no one can sue. the one I'd like to see adapted proper is Baba Yaga. Like not John Wick, but the witch in the Russian woods.
Not the Baba Yaga.
No, I've seen that. It's been done very well.
3 times actually.
Yeah. But I watched a movie called Don't Knock Twice on Netflix, which was about the Baba Yaga, and it was god awful. And I know it could be done better because it's creepy. You throw a little bit of like Mama in there, it could work. It could be really creepy. Slenderman's another one. I'm surprised considering how popular that whole thing is. There hasn't been a good movie made out of it. There was that one shitty one, but
after that shitty one, it was bad.
Yeah, and creepypastas are such a great endless list of creepy ass possibilities. Like there was this one I read about like a haunted Zelda game.
Dude, I know what you're talking about. That's one section of creepypastas I would love to see adapted, like the cursed games or like the SpongeBob episode 1, like the cursed episodes of television video games.
Yeah,
we haven't yet to see that. I know there was a show I think called Channel Zero that was adapting various creepypastas. But I think it only lasted 3-4 seasons, so they only did like maybe 3 or 4 of the most popular ones that weren't Slenderman. But no one's tapped into that yet. That like the curse, which I'm surprised with. The Ring proved you could, and Smile recently with its box office proven that cursed type films still do well in horror. People like that shit.
Well, I mean, they obviously have to start from scratch because to get they'd have to get like film rights from Nintendo to do like a proper haunted Zelda to do that story proper. So they'd have to probably come up with their own game.
Nintendo's not signing off on that. Speaking of which, did you see the Super Mario Bros. Trailer?
I did, and I still care as much as I did when it was announced.
It doesn't look bad, but I also didn't get an uproar over Chris Pratt's casting like everyone else. I wasn't like, oh my god. I was like, okay, Chris Pratt's playing him.
I never played Mario. I don't have any investment in this whatsoever.
I like Mario. I played the Wii one with my siblings. It's a lot of fun. I have one of the games for my Switch.
Cool. Yeah, urban legends are cool. Have they ever done like a really good Bloody Mary movie?
No, you've only seen episodes of it on TV. I know American Horror Stories, the spinoff of Horror Story. They actually in this recent season they had a Bloody Mary episode type or Bloody Mary like episode type. It was decent. Mainly that shows I know like for a lot of people American Horror Story is a mixed bag, but Horror Stories is a really mixed bag.
I know what I really want. I really want a good shadow person movie.
Ooh,
like the Hat Man. I mean, the Babadook kind of did that, but like I want the actual like urban legend, the myth, the sleep paralysis. Like I want all of that into a movie.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be.
What was that one creepy part? It had to do with like the long hair and the creepy face. He got like all jacked up and killed his family.
Jeff the Killer. Yeah, I remember that.
There we go. I am dying because that image is always like still kind of honestly. I got goosebumps just talking about it. It's a creepy image. I would die to see like an adaptation of that.
There was one creepypasta about it was really short, but you could turn this into a movie for sure. It was about a babysitter who was, watching the kids and she wanted to watch TV, but there was this angel statue in the living room that was creeping her out. So she called the family and was like, "Hey, can I put a blanket over that statue?" And they're like, "What statue?"
Yeah.
And then like they were all found dead the next morning or something. No statue.
Yeah.
Like that's freaky.
That was a creepy. God, I'm gonna use some talking about this.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember. It probably also doesn't help that I have AMC's Fear Fest on my TV because that's what as soon as October hits, it's fucking Fear Fest or TCM, and they're showing The Conjuring right now. But it's actually the clapping scene that's popping up, I believe. But yeah, that would be creepy. Yeah, I am surprised with how popular creepypasta has been, still ongoing to this day, that all we got out of it was a shitty Slenderman movie and a short-lived TV show.
Well, I wonder, like, what's the issue with like rights with that? Like, is it published work? Is it public domain work? Do people hold the rights to their own stories? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. I would think on something like creepypasta, like you would be able to adapt. I don't think it'd be like you're paying like, a lot of money to someone like Stephen King, for Christ's sakes.
Like, is there someone out there who like owns the trademark on Slenderman?
That one maybe. That one maybe. But even then, like, let's say you still have to pay these people, right, for their creative works, because they did create it. I mean, if I was someone that created a popular creepypasta like Jeff the Killer or something like that, right? And Hollywood came knocking, like, hey, we want to turn this into something, I'd be pretty receptive to some pitches. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be like playing hardball, like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because I'd be like, look, if I receptive and I just pick the right one, I'm getting money out of this. More than what I typed.
That is true. I wonder if a lot of it is, Hollywood executives are still, living in the past. They don't see internet creepy stories as a viable source of like, product. So I'm sure there's a bit of that. There's always pushback from older studio executives on, anything that looks progressive. I mean, look how long it took Marvel to get a female-led superhero because they had that one prick like negating all of Feige's decisions.
Yeah, which is why we now have Black Widow, which just feels like it was, as I've said numerous times, 10 years too late. Or it's just like, well, damn.
Probably because of that guy.
Yep. And then Captain Marvel, which even felt it. I stand by it. It just felt more like they felt the need to do it. I don't really feel the heart was in that first film as much.
But I do think there might be, that might be some of it. And again, when it comes to like, anonymous posted stories, I wonder what kind of, how many people would come out of the woodwork and being like, oh, that was mine.
Right. And that's why I said, I wonder if they even have to get that. Because like I said, there was a fucking show, Channel Zero, and I doubt they went and talked to those every single person that wrote those creepypastas. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure they were just like, this is a public domain site. We're adapting it. Don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'd love to see it done. And I've often thought about, mining that to like create my own stories, like inspiration and all that. But then I think again of the rights thing and like how similar is this? And then I don't feel right. It's not my work. It just wouldn't feel right. So yeah. But I want somebody to do something with all that shit.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool on that. And obviously, I know we've seen urban legends, like your more traditional urban legends. And if anyone watches any kind of horror TV show, like almost ever, it's going to pop up. Supernatural obviously did it. X-Files, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, probably the big three. They all tackled some kind of popular urban legend at some point, especially Supernatural in its early seasons. But still, it's just, I would like to see like a whole like movie. You know what I mean? Like how we got the Mothman prophecies with Richard Gere.
Well, I mean, we got Krampus. That was pretty cool.
We did get Krampus. Thanks to Michael Dougherty, we got Krampus. Quite big. I'm so hoping that he doesn't need a horror film next. But apparently he's claiming that Trick or Treat 2 is in active development. And I know I've quoted my love quite a bit for Trick or Treat. I'm not holding my breath.
Well, yeah, it's a damn shame. Maybe, if the theater release of the first one, if that generates an actual profit, then maybe people start talking about it for real.
I hope so. I got my ticket. I'm seeing it this weekend in theater. How long would actually, at the same time that I took advantage of Shout Factory sell or Screen Factory, whatever sell, and got their copy of sorry, I own it, but I saw they had a copy of it of Trick or Treat, but with more bonus features than mine, so I picked up their copy. So I've double dipped and about triple dipped for a theater experience.
But it's always, cool to see an urban legend be adapted to screen. Somebody put their own spin on it, and it's also good, for like cheap back of the catalog Netflix horror movies. It's a good place to start for somebody who wants to do something but can't quite get their own idea off the ground.
Yeah. And I think also like right now we're just thinking in like obviously domestic terms, but it also works out really well a lot of times in international terms when you have other cultures putting in their urban legends and turning them to film, and then you as a film goer that may not be as obviously like, I don't know every Japanese folklore or urban legend that's out there. I'm saying that because we did the Ju-on not too long ago, so it's a little bit fresher. And Arrow, listen to me, I guess, and we are fucking getting a goddamn Blu-ray from Arrow. Well, a collection actually. It's including the 2 Curse films along with The Grudge.
Shit.
Yeah, they're putting the Curse out on there.
I'll take it.
But what's cool about that, even if like it's not, let's say it's just not intimate or it's not, you don't like it that much, right? For a lot of people, I know for me, it kind of triggers you to want to do some research and be like, well, what's this actual urban legend about? And so I think that's another cool thing on the international side of it is it can kind of introduce you to other cultures, urban legends.
You know what I really want that I can't believe this isn't really explored that much? I want more sea monster movies. Like we
Like
never,
Kraken.
yeah, like the Kraken or there was this
Yeah.
Japanese sea monster starts with an N, like a whale looking thing. 1 second.
You do that. No, yeah. At sea is, I mean, I'm always a sucker for like at sea horror films that are done really well. Like just about the isolation of like you can't go anywhere, you're stuck to at a boat in the
Yeah,
middle of the ocean.
the Ningen. That's what it was called. The Ningen. It's like a giant humanoid underwater monster thing. I just think like all of those, we have every culture has centuries worth of urban legends about what's in the ocean. And that just seems like such a great place to mine for cool potential movies.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. You know which one I want, and I stand by my feelings. I want an actual definitive, a more definitive La Llorona movie because I stand by that. The one that was may or may not have been part of the Conjuring universe. I stand by it. It just should not have been set in Los Angeles. I know what you're saying. Los Angeles has a huge Hispanic population, and you are correct. It does. But La Llorona is such a huge, like, specifically Mexican folklore tale that's like you should have just kept it based there. Like, humongous missed opportunity in that film to just not go ahead and just embrace that, place it there, and have people want to actually look it up more.
There was a movie released in 2019 called La Llorona, which was a Guatemalan horror film that ended up getting a best foreign film nomination at the Golden Globes that year. And
Okay, I will say I'll have to check that one out then.
I think it's on Shudder, or at least it was last time I checked.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out then because yeah, the fact that they and I think what bugs me more is less that they put it in America, which just felt like you're taking away from a very specific folklore and tied to a specific culture. But you did it so you could kind of fit into the Conjuring universe, and it's the flimsiest connection that they could have thought of. So it's like it's piss poor. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Like as someone who has done 2 deployments, thanks to my time in the Navy, yeah, being out to sea, like a sea based like horror film, like I'm a sucker. Like just you're out there in the middle of the ocean, and all you have to keep you safe is a boat, and you just gotta hope that thing doesn't sink.
Ghost movie on a submarine. That would be creepy.
God, you basically can we just get like Ghost Ship that's good after the first 10 minutes of the movie?
I was gonna. Oh yeah, have they ever made a Robert the Doll movie?
No, they have not. That would be. I would be interested if they did something like that. I know Chucky is heavily. That was one of the heavy inspirations was Robert the Doll. I mean, obviously, I think it was kind of the. I don't think it was really like Robert the Doll was a thing right when Chucky was coming out.
Well, I
Initially.
mean, we got Child's Play, we got Annabelle, we've got The Boy. We can have one more.
Yeah, I'd be down for Robert the Doll. That story, I've looked in that story. It's creepy as shit.
Yeah, it really is. The whole like, you gotta apologize to it and like give it a gift, or else it's not gonna stop fucking with you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ugh. And you know how you avoid that? Listen to the signs that say "Don't take a picture."
The fact that they have signs, like please don't anger the sentient doll.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, if there's a sign telling you not to take a picture or something, just for once, keep your phone in your pocket.
We did get a movie based off the Japanese suicide forest, but the movie was shit. I'd like to see that explored better.
Yeah, and again, it was an American production starring a hot off of hit show Game of Thrones act. I don't know if Natalie Dormer was American or not. Um,
Yeah, I don't. She might be.
I don't want to say she is and then be wrong because I know there's also a lot of British actors in Game of Thrones.
She
But
is,
either way,
she's English. Yeah.
in English. Either way, it's again just pulling the whole like let's just try to Americanize, or in this case, English it as much as possible. Even though this is again a very specific folklore tied to Japanese culture.
Yep. Because people in America don't see shit unless they see people who look like them. It really is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's not me trying. I know trying to be like don't think I'm trying to be like a white savior. Like I'm just saying like come on, it's specific to the culture. So like I would prefer seeing a movie that's specific to the culture, not okay. Let's take it, but then we are going to put it in Los Angeles or get the fucking white lead going there, and that's who your fault. It's like okay,
As we saw with when we did Ju-on, that the culture that people who grew up with this as part of their culture are going to put more into the story, into the product, than someone who just finds out about it in a different country and wants to do something cool with it.
yeah,
That's just we've seen examples of that many times, and it's always better when it comes from the source. That's just the way it is, really.
yeah, it's just the way it is. So that is I know we kind of started out with like talking obviously very domestic and obviously with creepypastas, but just thinking on the international side of it and a little bit bigger because I know obviously all different cultures have all their different folklores and different urban legends and boogeymans and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. That was a cool conversation. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Interesting. This is what I thought of yesterday. I had a different question and it wasn't sitting with me very well. And I was like, I don't really like this. And then I got home from work and I was like, oh my God, I have it. I was like, this is a urban legends. That's the key. and, and then my mind also started thinking about the movie Urban Legend. I was like, why am I thinking about the movie Urban Legend also?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still waiting for a good Bigfoot movie.
I thought you got it with the Bobcat Goldthwait movie, Willow Creek.
Willow Creek was good, but I want more. Like I want seconds. It was such a good meal. I want seconds.
That was a really good movie, especially the implied shit at the end. When I was like, oh wait, when they imply what they do to the men and do the women, I was like, oh God.
Just the fact that like we got so much out of just a couple in a tent, some noises outside, and something pushing in. That's all we had, and it's one of the scariest bits of a film I've ever seen.
Yeah, that and like just the lead up where like you start to realize like the town at first you're like, wow, they really believe in this, and then like the people are being like, no, you don't go in there, stay out of there. And it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
And just knowing what the fate that awaits them, and that Bigfoot is less of a creature and more of a state of mind. Like that was fucked up.
Yeah, God, I'm not going to ruin like what you isn't heavily implied at the end of the film for those of you who have not seen it, but it definitely makes you go, wait, oh God, oh boy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I want to see Bobcat do more horror films. Like that was so good. But yeah, Bigfoot and like sea monsters and stuff, and like more of well-known legends like that. I'm surprised there aren't more like professionally made films in that era.
It's not film, but there was a show. I don't know if you remember on Animal Planet called Lost Tapes.
I do remember that show. Yeah,
where they would do like found footage of like things like Bigfoot and the Yeti and all that stuff, and then have experts talk about it. Let me tell you, man, I watched all 3 seasons. I'm actually trying to hunt that. Apparently, it's on DVD. I've actually have done the whole like. Let me look on Amazon. Cannot find this bitch. I'm going to hunt this thing down because it's corny. It's stupid, but my God, is it a fun show to watch? I seen all the episodes. I remember when I finally caught it, it was when Animal Planet was showed at like 2 or 3 in the morning when I was in high school, and I would record it. Back when my parents like watching stuff. I recorded on the living room DVR back when that's how you had to fucking watch stuff, and got my mom into it. And so like it'd come on, I had it recorded, we just sit there and watch what we record and just get a fucking great laugh out of it. It's such like an entertaining in a weird way show.
I watched something similar. I think it was called Fact or Faked.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was so basically, for those of you who haven't seen this, it was like a panel, like a group of like 5 or 6, ghost hunters and truth seekers and all that would watch amateur footage caught of like creatures or aliens or something, and then they talk and debate like whether or not it was real. And every single video they'd be like, "Oh, that's evidence right there. How do you dispute that when it's the most goofy looking shit?" And sometimes they'd go out and try to replicate. Sometimes it would look kind of real, and they'd go and try to replicate it and figure out what this was. But sometimes it was just like, I remember when it was a witch video. It was a La Llorona video from Mexico. It was a guy emerged from a cave, and he's like, "What is that?" And it was a witch that like flew off into this. Like, it was a witch on the side of the camera. It like flew off, but you could tell it was a fucking like witch like toy thing from Walmart or something, like a 5 foot like witch design from for Halloween that was just like screen.
I saw that one. Yeah.
And some of the guys were like, "How do you dispute that? That's a witch, right? That's witchcraft. That's magic." And I'm like, "What are you smoking, man? Like how do you not?"
Dude, it's like some guy above it go.
Yeah, I watched that all the time because I kept hoping to see something real because I was a kid, but sometimes I was like, that's the fakest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, Lost Tapes cracked me up because they had episodes on like there's one, it was like you saw like essentially like they filmed like a little short show, like a little thing with people were experiencing the thing, right, and then it would cut throughout the story to the experts talking. They had one like this family moves to the house, and apparently there was a vampire living within the walls. So it would cut to experts talking about vampirism. And I was just like, dude, are you serious? Like, oh my God. And it's just like it was so entertaining because of like how they embraced that so much, but then gave us entirely, well, here's this obviously fake story we're going to tell you. And I remember me, like I watched one of some my mom and my siblings. We got such a laugh because the actor, like it was like I think the Jersey Devil, so I forget what it was, or like the fucking the pterodactyl thing that people think is still alive. And like Thunderbird or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah, the Thunderbird.
Yeah, and they're getting attacked by it, and like the guy's like, "We got to get out," but he has like super long hair, and it keeps getting the actor's face. So he's like talking down, trying to talk to his boy. He's like, "We gotta go," and then like flips his hair. "Come on, man!" Flips it again and just keeps doing it. And I'm like, "Oh my fucking God!" It's corny as show, but goddamn, if I could sit there and watch it all fucking day and just have a good time.
Do you remember? I think it was called Monster Quest.
Yeah, I do.
I binged the shit out of that. It was DVR on, I think it was Sci-Fi Channel or Travel Channel or one of those, and it was just like an hour on a urban legend monster, and I kept hoping for footage. I never got any goddamn footage. I just got stock footage of the woods and like a bird or a bear or a monkey. It was never anything I wanted to actually see. Eventually, I gave up.
Oh God, yeah. I am kind of merely a sucker. I'm not a sucker for that one, but like I still occasionally watch like the paranormal ones where they sit and they talk about not the fucking ghost hunters. I don't know why I can't do it. I don't get America's fascination with ghost hunters. I don't get spooked when they're like shaking the camera and talking about a breeze that I didn't see but they felt.
Like, somebody once described ghost hunters as people talking shit to ghosts and then pissing their pants when they square up. It's like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. But I do watch the ones where like they sit in front of the camera and tell their stories and they do the reenactments. I watch a lot of those. I still do. It's just, I used to watch them when I was a kid. Got kicked out of them. I still do it. I can't stop.
I once saw a meme that said, like, was describing everybody who talks about their Bigfoot encounter. It's like Cletus was up till 3 a.m. drinking paint thinner, but he knows what he saw. Like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I done tell you what, there's a Bigfoot out there.
That damn Sasquatch. I'll tell you what. Hard to believe sometimes. It's hard to keep that, that I want to believe spirit when everybody who says they saw something is that exact dude.
Yeah. It's kind of like aliens, right? Every time you hear about the person that got like abducted, it's always Jim Bob. Or
it's never a stockbroker from New York, makes 8 figures, highly respected. It's always Cletus from down the road who just lost his job, was on a 3-day bender, woke up in a field somewhere, says he got abducted by aliens.
He got probed. They always get probed. They done probe me in my private parts.
My grandpa watched this one. He loves watching this stuff too. And he watched one that he always brings up anytime we talk about it because this dude was talking. It's like, I done seen them. Like they told me they came from another galaxy. And it's stuck in his head because he brings that up all the time, and it's still funny as hell. Like you're on TV, man. Learn how to say shit.
They came up from their solar system.
Oh my god, yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, urban legends.
Oh, that was a fun tangent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured that would be a much more fun question than to talk about some of the worst months in film. Usually,
and we got into a bit of that too, just naturally.
Yeah, I felt it was going to happen naturally anyway. So with that, unless you got more you want to add, we can move on to development hell. So, starting off in the world of literary fiction, actually, Mr. Jonathan Penner, who was the husband actually to Stacy Title, now obviously widow. They stayed married until her death. He was brought on board to adapt a script from a book known as from The Bridge to Body Island, which was a chapter, not the book, but a chapter in Robert Damon Schneck's fiction book, The President's Vampire. I have no idea what this book's about. Did not bother to look it up.
The President's Vampire?
Yes.
It's an interesting title. This better be about like Ulysses S. Grant and a vampire like killing clan members.
What if it's about a dude boxing or something? Just something random, just completely outside of the title.
The President's Vampire by Christopher Farnsworth. Okay, already that first sentence is gold. Nathaniel Cole is the president's vampire, sworn by a blood oath to protect the president in America. This can't be the same book.
I don't think it's the same book. Anyway, let's not worry about it. We're going to move on.
I want to read that, though. He's like a vampire Secret Service agent. Anyway, continue.
This book, and this is probably why you can't find it, would later be retitled The Bye-Bye Man, Other Strange But True Tales when it was reprinted in 2016.
Bold statement. Strange but true tales. I'll be the judge of that.
Heck.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this Bye-Bye Man shit did not happen.
Probably not. Schneck claims he got the idea for this story based on an allegedly true tale that's related to him. Luckily, I have the deets on that tale. Like most adaptations, there would be changes, obviously, to the title character's mythology. So, before I get into those changes, though, in the original story, he was an albino man born in New Orleans in 1912 who ran away as a child and became a derelict who lived in a train yard.
I'm picturing the Bye-Bye Man as like a homeless albino Creole being like, "Spare some change," or something like that. And I can't help it. I can't help it.
I thought of the South Park episode. Change.
I thought of that one guy selling like gumbo when Cthulhu showed up, and he's like, "Look at that Earl on my shrimp." Like that's the guy I'm picturing.
All right, I gave you change. I don't have any more change.
Oh, all right. So Bye-Bye Man is an albino from New Orleans who's just going through the motions. Continue.
Yes. Going blind, again, not explained why, but after going blind, he began murdering people and cutting out their eyes and tongues.
It's got to be hard to do when you're blind.
A little bit. So I'm only calling bullshit. Which he sewed together and brought to life using voodoo. Again,
probably hard to sew tongues and eyes together when you're blind, but whatever.
Yes, well, he found this is where this again. I mean, he knows he's blind. He's, I guess, a smart enough man. The resultant creature would become the Bye-Bye Man's literal seeing eye dog, helping him hunt his prey. And that is the legend of the Bye-Bye Man, told to Mr. Schneck.
That's it?
That's it.
Albino Creole sewed some eyes and tongues together, made himself a dog. The end?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm assuming this didn't win any awards.
No, this is all I could find on it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sorry. That's all I got. So, while some elements from the story, mainly the dog and the train motifs that you see plastered throughout the damn movie, were kept for the film. Their purpose, for those who don't read this, like me, who had no idea until I was doing this research, their purpose would be left undefined in the film. They just were there.
What's with the coins?
That's the next part I found out. Good question. As for the coin featured in the film, the biggest theory, this is the theory because it has not been confirmed, is this being a reference to the obol from Greek mythology. OBOL.
OBOL, I guess.
Obol. But either way, it's a coin which, for those who about to have the light bulbs go off, which was used to pay Sharon, the ferryman of the river Styx, for safe passage to the underworld.
Pretty sure it's Charon.
Is it Charon?
There's no way the ferryman to the afterlife is named Sharon.
I thought it was Sharon or some weird thing like that.
Charon.
Are you sure?
It's not that, and it's not Karen. I refuse to believe it's Karen.
Does God of War ever talk about this? Because it's Greek mythology.
You beat the shit out of him in one of the prequel games.
Damn, I can't remember what you called him in that.
I'm going with Karen because that's the one that doesn't sound goofy.
I'm going with Sharon because it sounds goofy. That's where the theory of the coin comes from. Is that the coin that you would pay him to cross the river Styx for safe passage to the underworld?
I had a feeling that's the direction it was going in. It's just the movie never bothered to go there with me.
Well, because again, the movie does not bother to do the one thing it needs to and explain.
Yeah, I could use some of that. But then again, the movie would be longer and I would have had to sit there longer. So maybe not.
This is also true. Outside of that, there's actually not a lot of production history on this film. Apparently they had no issues. The only thing they had was a constantly shifting release schedule. So originally it was set for 2016. October 2016 makes sense, right? Hey, horror film, let's get some money there. Apparently at one point they were confident enough they moved it up to June 2016. They were like, fuck this, we got this in the bag.
Okay.
Someone got cold feet though, and then they pushed it back to December.
We got this. We got this. We got this. We don't got this. Move it now.
Move it now. And I guess they had zero faith in that Christmas money because they eventually moved it to the actual release date they got of January of 2017, therefore signifying what we got with the film.
Unless your horror movie deals directly with Christmas, probably shouldn't come out in December.
Yeah, and even then, you better, if we're being honest, you better be a good horror film. As we've seen with something like Black Christmas 2019, that fucking flopped.
Be a Krampus. Be an original Black Christmas. You could even be a Silent Night, Deadly Night. Just try.
Yes. Just try. You can be a Christmas Evil. Any other insert well-known, popular now horror.
You could even be a Santa's sleigh. Remember that?
You could be a Jack Frost, and I'll let you figure out which one I'm talking about. And it's not the Michael Keaton film.
Looking back, that's pretty fucking terrifying. My dad died and came back as a snowman. I'd be scared shitless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. With that said, I am looking forward. Thinking of Christmas, it's not really a horror film; it's more action. But if y'all have not seen the trailer for Violent Night, oh my goddamn god, like that looks good.
My favorite thing about that movie is so many people are saying that it's basically the fake movie from Scrooged with Lee Majors the night the reindeer died. Like it's the same thing. And that's just beautiful.
Dude, the cast for that movie, David Harbour as a fucking pissed off Santa. John Leguizamo playing the bad guy. Like, all right, give me this movie.
Yeah, I'm on board. I'm gonna be there. That looks great.
Oh yeah, it looks good. I'm excited. but back to a shitty film. As stated above, ultimately, when this film would come out, it would not resonate with either audiences or critics. With many considering it another case of a bad horror film dumped early in the year for an easy, quick profit.
Yeah, this is the crack cocaine of movie making, basically.
Yeah, basically, hey, get the teenagers in, get the couples that let's go watch a scary movie for date night. Get those people in. Movie will largely be forgotten afterwards. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, just a cheap, fleeting high that's it's not gonna improve your life in any way. Crack cocaine. I stumbled onto an analogy I like, and I'm not leaving it anytime soon.
God damn it! It's like the Limp Bizkit episode over again.
Oh, are we trashing Fred Durst again? Because I'm one.
No, rein it in, rein it in.
Oh.
Rein it in. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities to dunk on the guy who does it all for the nookie.
Everybody sucks. That's all I got.
Now he has dad vibes. Boom! For those who actually listen to the new album.
Anyway.
Anyway, that's it for development. That's all I had. There was not a lot, so I really had to stretch out the urban legend backstory, which is why I came up with the question of the episode. Was when I was like, oh yeah, this is based off some shitty urban legend. I never want to see adapted again.
I still can't believe that this existed as The Bye Bye Man for so long, and nobody once said, this is a stupid title. Let's retitle this thing. I mean, it's like if, Freddy was like, dreamy stab guy.
The Gone Man?
Yeah. The like Farewell Freddy.
Hack / Jason.
Oh my god.
I took it.
So
yeah. So think about it for a second.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Pint-sized Chucky.
Cheery chainsaw guy. You don't want to upset the cheery chainsaw guy. He'll get you with his chainsaw. Cheerfully.
The guy who loves Halloween too much.
Can you imagine that was the name of Halloween in 1978? John Carpenter's the guy who loved Halloween too much.
The guy who loved Halloween too much for the return of Michael Myers.
Jesus Christ.
The guy who loved Halloween too much kills.
Rob Zombie's the guy who loved Halloween too much. Two. Oh, titles are important.
The guy who loved Halloween too much. Resurrection.
Oh my god.
Okay.
He's here. He's coming home. The guy who loved Halloween too much. They never call him Michael. He's just the guy who loves Halloween too much the entire time.
Can you imagine Dr. Loomis having to say that constantly?
I think Donald Pleasance would have turned it down.
But how much Donald Pleasance says Michael hysterically in the sequels? It's funny. Watch the first one. Calm, collected, get shit done. By Halloween 4, he is fucking a madman, and it's glorious to watch.
I can picture Donald Pleasance on his like sixth take and being like, damn it, John, can't we just give this guy a name? Do we have to say this every time, damn it?
I'm getting goddamn flash.
I know, I did that for you.
I was about to say, I was like, one of the greatest, other than your rendition of Loomis, one of the greatest moments was when we did that marathon and you finally getting what I meant by Donald Pleasance's performance in like 4 or 5 and a little bit of 6. He's a fucking nut job in those movies. It's great.
Yeah, and he would have been even crazier if he wasn't allowed to call him Michael and had to give him this giant ass title. Anyway, yeah, I think titles are important. And if you have a shitty one, maybe workshop it with some people who aren't going to kiss your ass.
Yeah, like think about it. If no one workshopped Head Cheese, Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be called a whole different thing right now.
I'm going to look up real quick. I remember one of Nirvana's original band names was so terrible. uh Nirvana's other names. What were they going to call themselves?
The
Keep
band.
going. Keep going. I'm going to find this.
Oh, we're. Oh, I was like, are we stopping the show just for you to find?
We stop the show quite often.
So usually when you look something up, and then we're like, oh shit, we have to make talk because you're looking something up that
We
we're
have
not
to
looking
make
up.
talk. Isn't that what podcasting is? Just making talk.
No,
We do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Keep
All right,
going.
where he's looking that up because I don't know how long he's going to take looking up this damn Nirvana thing. Am I good to move on to the awards, or am I moving too
Oh my
fast?
god. Continue the show. It's fine.
All right, moving on to awards. Talking about the Zack Snyder. I once again don't have a.
I found it. They were considering fecal matter. So
You know what's sad? There's some stupid fucking extreme metal band that's probably called that.
yeah. And there's some that just sound like fecal matter, like
Yeah.
Biscuit.
I don't know. There's bands out there. There's a band called Infinite Annihilator, for Christ's sakes. Like, yeah. Yeah, the Zack Snyder. I don't have a witty pun. He's been quiet since he's been with Netflix. I don't like that. So I'll just say Snyderverse still sucks. And I'm sorry, but Justice League, 4 hours long, overindulgent. Come at me. The worst scene. What do you got?
I think Netflix is just locking him in a box somewhere until they need him.
Work on your one movie, Zach, and then worry about your sequels.
One of these days, Zach. One of these days, straight to the moon.
Yeah. Can I go back to DC? You don't want to go over there right now, Zach. You don't want to do it.
It's on fire, Zach. It's on fire.
On fire. What about Marvel? They're not calling you, Zach.
They have plenty of water, and they're not giving any to Warner Brothers. So this was, I had, quite my pick of terrible scenes in this movie. I ultimately went with one that just was so like out of touch with the tone of the movie. It was such a weird decision. Elliot, who is having, kind of a crisis because he keeps seeing this, dude in a hoodie who won't stop making him think his girlfriend's fucking his best friend, which is really the crux of this thing.
Yeah, PG-13 though. Keep that in mind. PG-13.
Oh, yeah. PG-13. Again, like why? Why would you do anyway? He's driving to the widow's house and he's listening to the radio, and it's the song Bye Bye Life from All That Jazz starts playing on the radio, and he's like poking at the radio, like turning it up, like he's like, oh, that's a good tune, while he's on his way to go talk to somebody whose husband killed everybody she knew over this whole situation. It's just like, why are we all of a sudden like chuckling? It was stupid. It was a weird decision.
Well, in a movie that doesn't even go for that, like ever. Like at no point is this movie trying to pull like, it's like deathly serious.
Yeah.
Horror.
Exactly. I think if this had been like kind of a tongue-in-cheek parody of this kind of movie, I think this could have been something.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about that, would have worked a lot better than committing to a serious film called The Bye Bye Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is a good pick. I didn't even think about that. I think this being my second time, I was zoned out through a very good chunk of the film. I was like, God, I don't want to watch this again.
This is my first time, and I was zoned out. I had to kind of rewind sometimes and be like, did that really just happen, or was I thinking of something else?
Yeah, those times like, oh my God, this fucking movie. For me, and my pick was easy because I remembered it the first time I watched it, and I remembered it, and it came up again, obviously, because the film didn't change any time between the first time I watched it and now. And that is the scene that just makes my head hurt because of sheer stupidity. And that is Elliot, our main character, going to the library to research the Bye Bye Man. At this point, knowing the rules for this being, and tells the librarian every fucking thing, says his name like 10 times. And I'm sitting there going, you know the rules. Why are you telling the librarian, you dumb fuck?
It was very much like, hey, come here. You ever heard of the Bye Bye Man? Like, it was like he was trying to ruin her life or something. It was a weird decision.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say it or think it, but I need you to find stuff on the Bye Bye Man. For those of you want a good laugh, there's this YouTuber I like, well, I like Josh despises because of reasons. Um, but he does a lot of like reviews on YouTube, and he reviewed the Bye Bye Man, and he gets so fed up he did a quick little skit of that where he's like, "Hey, can you tell me about the Bye Bye Man? Yeah, the Bye Bye Man. I can tell you about the Bye Bye Man. Yeah, you're not supposed to say his name or anything, but can you like I need information on the Bye Bye Man." It's like the Bye Bye Man. Yeah, the Bye Bye Man. Like he just keeps saying the name and making fun of this scene because it's like, yeah, why are you doing this, you fucking idiot?
Oh, yeah, that's good. And also doesn't really have a lot of payoff later. I mean, he just like runs into her on the road and then just keeps driving.
Yeah, in the road. Which why was she standing in the road? Why was she standing there? I'm like, okay, I know he fucks with your vision and what you're seeing, but what was he doing further? Just standing in the road. And then if you look, you can tell she's clearly like, hey, you need to stop. I'm standing in the road.
I when that happened, because the first time when he runs into the hallucination of his girlfriend, he's like, "Ha, wasn't real." I wonder if the Bye Bye Man was off to the corner being like, "Oh, God damn it, I guess I gotta." And then he runs into the librarian and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, holy shit!" Like he didn't plan that. He was just like, "Jesus, I guess that'll work."
I like that. I know the fireman going, my job is done.
Yeah, mission accomplished. I have earned that candy bar.
I'll go get my Three Musketeers now.
I don't know why it makes me laugh more to think like he's not going to get like drunk. He's like looking forward to a candy bar. Like he's just so like PG at home, but then at work it's murder, murder, murder all the time.
It's all the murder.
Doug Jones, why are you in this movie?
Don't. I'll save my feelings for things about the Bye Bye Man in a minute. But yeah, that's my scene. Just because it's like at this point, the film tells you everything, the character knows everything, and he's just without even second thought, it's like I'm going to ruin this librarian. It's like the librarian has hurt him in the past, so he's like, I'm going to destroy her now.
I would just post this on like online to make it go viral so that everybody knows about the Bye Bye Man, and then he gets like overloaded.
That could work. I mean, at this point, he should have. Like, if you're going to tell the librarian, be like, you know what, bro, you're clearly not following the rules, so just put that shit online.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, just weird. The rules are so muddled.
I'm saving that. On that note, give you guys some hints on things I have for a certain award. Let's go on to the Ed Wood, the worst line.
This for me comes toward the end of the movie. Another just random tonal shift. I don't know why they kept doing this. It's after Elliot has decided to kill himself, and his brother, was it his brother or his uncle or
his brother?
His brother. Okay. Just is driving home with the little girl, and he knows what happened, and I think she kind of knows what happened. I think he told her, like Uncle Elliot's in heaven or something like that because she's a little sad. And she mentions like there was a dresser outside with writing, and he's like, what did it say? And she goes, Daddy, you know I can't read in the dark. What do you think I am, a flashlight? And they share a little chuckle, and I'm like, your brother just killed himself in front of you. Like, why are we chuckling on the drive home?
Right? It's like your brother, your uncle for the little gore, like who we haven't seen that establishes they clearly have a good relationship. She loves her uncle. Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, I remember watching that thing like this is weird. This is a weird conversation. So it's just like the film is trying to be like subversive because it's clearly doing the thing that like let's set it for a sequel and see that he didn't really stop it. Now it's going to affect the rest of his family. But then she doesn't say it, so it's like, oh well, they're safe because they're not going to say it or think it like ever. So what the fuck was the point of this?
He burned the armoire instead of just leaving it outside. Anyway, it was just a weird like why the little girl's tone goes from, I didn't get to say goodbye to what am I, a flashlight? Like she's doing stand-up comedy. It was a weird immediate shift that I didn't need or want.
No one asked for this.
What's the deal with the bye-bye man? Am I right? Like that's the tone it took.
I mean, what is the deal with the bye-bye man?
Bye-bye man's in the audience, like, oh, I know where he's going.
You just sound like chuckle, ha, like that, just real loud. The only one.
He brought his buddies, like the Babadook and like the ghost, the guy from Sinister are there, and they're like, why did we bring him? Babadook's like, he doesn't have a lot of friends. Okay.
We can't all be in successful franchises, okay?
My brother-in-law, I promised my wife, just it's happening, so deal with it.
I know, I get it. We were successful films. People love us. I get you. Well, you had a shit sequel, but like, he didn't even have a first good movie.
I just love him being ostracized from the rest of the horror community. Who like he's the weird guy who keeps showing up to the parties he wasn't invited for, acting like his invite got lost in the mail.
I like the idea. Thinking of like Sinister, and no one likes to. The idea of like, in that's how they make fun of each other. So they just mention like a bad film they were in, like, ha, at least I didn't do Sinister 2. Am I right, Bagul?
I saw a funny thing. It was Michael and Jason were talking, and I guess Jason pissed off Michael because he's like, "You always bring up that Busta Rhymes shit, don't you? Do I ever mention the time you went to space? No, I don't, because I'm a good friend." Oh, I love shit like that.
I know my Rob Zombie years were weird, but I worked through it.
I moved on, and now I'm better for it. Oh,
you're still stuck in legal issues. Shut up, Jason. He's like, what about me? Hey, you stay over there, Fred. All right, you should stay over there.
Fine, bitch.
When I get my movie, huh? That's funny.
When you get your movie, yeah, that's right, Fred.
Yeah. Jason here already has a better shot than you do.
Anyway, what was yours?
Mine is it's kind of a cheat because it is the tagline, but it's a line that's fucking repeated, and that is the constant saying of "Don't think it, don't say it." Look, for those of you who like to meme "Evil dies tonight," and rightly so, they do say it quite a bit in Halloween Kills. I'm not gonna take that away. I challenge you. I want to see who says it more. Evil dies tonight or fucking don't think it, don't say it. And by the way, doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. All right? By saying don't think it, you are inherently fucking thinking about it.
Yeah, this is one case where Limp Bizkit could really come in handy. If you got that bullshit going through your head, you're not thinking of anything else, I guarantee. Yeah. One of the Letterboxd reviews that I didn't end up choosing but made me laugh was 100 or so repetitions of "Don't rent it, don't watch it. Don't rent it, don't watch it." Got that one out real quick, but it's not going to be on my what's in the box.
Yeah. Yeah, I like I said, I know this is a bit of a cheat, but it's just I had to put because it's just like one, it said so fucking much to the point of just annoyance. And I think it's actually said more than Evil Dies Tonight is said in Halloween Kills. But it's said to the point of annoyance. And then again, it just doesn't make sense. Again, the first part, don't think it. By saying that you are thinking of it, it's like what is it? What is it? Anyone remember that game? The game that you just lost because you're thinking about it?
Remember that.
There it is. Yeah. I how many people right now are like, oh fuck, I was winning. Yeah, fuck you all. Come at me now. I just beat you out the game. But it's like that, right? It's like, well, by just telling you not to think about it, you're thinking about it. Like you're telling yourself not to think about something that you're clearly thinking about. So that's out the window. And then don't say it. I'm going to tell you right now. You keep saying that like a crazy man. Someone's going to be like, "Say what?" And if you're going to slip, be like, "The Bible, oh God."
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. So guess what? Don't say the fucking line at all. Just don't. I don't know. Go watch porn, listen to music, watch a movie, do things that actually take your mind off it instead of repeating this fucking stupid ass line for the duration of the film.
Yeah. So many weird decisions in this movie. I, we'll get there, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my Ed Wood. A little bit more of a cheat, but yeah, it's just bugs me so much. Um, so with that, let's move on to the Steven Seagal, the worst performance, and boy, did we have some pickings on this one.
This goes to somebody who I know has delivered quality work in the past. And I don't know why the hell they're here. They didn't need the money. They didn't need the work. Why the fuck did you do this, Faye Dunaway?
I thought you were about to say Doug Jones. I was like, don't you dare talk bad about Doug Jones.
Academy Award winner Faye Dunaway could have retired 50 years ago.
Why does like 2010s specifically, mostly horror, have a fascination with taking actors like Faye Dunaway, Vincent D'Onofrio, and inserting them for one fucking scene to explain the goddamn plot of the movie?
Don't forget J.K. Simmons in Dark Skies.
I'm sorry, J.K. Simmons in Dark Skies as well. He redeemed himself for Glorious. Check that out on Shudder if you haven't. He is a voice and he's wonderful.
Dark Skies stands apart because that's actually a pretty good movie.
I do remember liking it when I saw it.
The movie's creepy as hell. But it is weird that this kept happening. They're like, we need somebody who 3 generations ago people would have been excited about and put them in a movie to talk briefly about their involvement with said monster. And yeah, Faye Dunaway is here for one scene. She's had quite a bit of work done. So she looks like a plastic rendering of Faye Dunaway. And yeah, when the work is bad, I'm going to point it out. And yeah, I know she can do better. I don't know why she's here, and she's clearly phoning it in. She puts on a robe. She talks about her dead husband. She gets lit on fire briefly, and then is never seen again. And it is just so unnecessary. You could have gotten anybody in off the street to do this bit, but you got an Academy Award winner to slum it in your piece of shit movie, and this is what you did.
Ugh. Yeah. I think of all the ones we named, I think this one kind of like probably is just like, obviously, if you're a film buff, you're like, holy shit, Faye Dunaway. But if you're watching, you're like, oh boy, Academy Award winning, like Hollywood royalty, Faye Dunaway. You're slumming it up in this movie, aren't you?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And if I ever meet Faye Dunaway, I'm hoping I can ask her, like, why did you do that?
You should act like this is the best thing she's done. Find a DVD copy and get like her autograph.
I loved you in the Bye Bye Man. It's my favorite movie. My neck just got sore saying that. That didn't feel right.
Oh god, that was a good pick. I'm surprised I didn't pick her. I'm as much as I hate this trope in a lot of 2010s horror films, did not pick Faye Dunaway. I actually picked from the main cast because I didn't think any of them were that great. And apparently I picked the one that has gone to bigger and better things. So hey, good for her. But if that hint wasn't enough, I picked Cressida, how do you say it? Bonas.
I'm gonna go with Cressida Bonas. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, Cressida Bonas. She plays the girlfriend to Elliot.
What do you mean by bigger and better things? I don't see any of that here.
She was in something I watched recently that was a lot better.
Sure, because she's done like all British soap operas and shit.
You, sir, are a liar because now I'm looking it up.
There was Dr. Thorne, which I know you didn't watch, Tulip Fever, which I also know you didn't watch.
How do you know?
The Murders of White House Farm. Did you watch that?
Definitely.
I don't think you did. That's it. That's all she's done.
So bigger and better things. I stand by it. It's not the Bye Bye Man, so it's definitely better and bigger. All right. So how about you shut your stupid mouth, sir? Go fuck yourself. All right. God damn it. Piece of shit. Either way, she plays the girlfriend to the main character. And look, I'm gonna say right now, none of these leads are good. Not a single guy. Elliot's not that great. His buddy, who I've forgotten the name of already, not that great. Um, but I don't know if it's like the writing or that, but god damn it, it's it's literally just she's really not that great performance wise in this movie, and all she is in this movie, it seems to be, is the girlfriend that may or may not be cheating, thanks to the Bye Bye Man messing with reality.
I will say Douglas Smith, who plays Elliot, actually did go on to bigger and better things. He was in Don't Worry, Darling. He was in an episode of Clarice. He was in The Alienist. He was in Big Little Lies. So he actually did do.
None of that sounded great at all.
It's work. It's more work than the girl got.
It still work. She still got work.
Two projects no one's heard of. He was in Don't Worry, Darling. That was big ish.
That was big because of the controversy surrounding the behind the scenes.
Still big. Still a movie in theaters.
Yeah, she got movie in theaters.
She didn't.
Yes, she did.
She didn't, though.
Yes, she did.
This is a weird hill to die on, man.
I will continue.
Why did he call her Bear?
What?
In the Bye Bye Man, Elliot, he called her Bear.
I may have tuned out at that point because I don't recall that.
It's at the beginning when you first met them.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. Either way, so everyone, bigger, everyone involved, bigger and better things. That's good. But yeah, she's not great in this movie.
No, everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. I just picked Faye Dunaway because I know what she's capable of, and I know she didn't need to do that.
Dude, honestly, like they have her. They tried Carrie Ann Moss into this. Doug Jones. I'm like, you have a lot of people that have gone on that are definitely just better than the material they have been handed. Why are they in this movie?
The guy who shot up the family at the beginning was Lee Winnell.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually going to say that for a special award, but yeah, I'm like, why is Lee Winnell in this? James Bond didn't work on this movie.
It's like I feel like there was like blackmail and a lot of favors called in or something.
Something, cause yeah, some of the names they put, I'm like, why? Even the guy who played Elliot's brother, I've seen that dude in other shit that he's good in. I'm just like, why is he in this movie?
He was in Next. We did Next.
He was in Next. I've seen him in stuff outside of Next though, because I recognize the face.
He's the bad guy in Hush.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, he's been in better stuff. He was good in Hush. I liked Hush.
Oh wait, no, he's not the bad guy in Hush. He's just in Hush.
Still, he's in Hush. Better film.
Yeah, true. Bigger and better.
Flanagan. Fucking knocking out of the park with that one. Now that we've gotten out of the way and know that Miss Bonas has gone on to bigger and better things, but sucks in this film, we can move on to Michael Bay. Worst filmmaking decision. What did you come up with?
I was gonna play it safe and just be like, calling it the Bye Bye Man is so goofy. It sounds like a segment from Barney and Friends. But I had to go with something else because I was like, did they really just say that? It's when he's figuring shit out with the widow, and he's like, he says, he figures he has a epiphany when he's like, if we don't fear him, he has no power. And I'm like, yeah, I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street too. That's great. You want to come up with something original for once? That'd be nice. So ripping off Elm Street with that little bit was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I see that. That honestly, ever since I've seen that in so many horror films. I don't even know if Elm Street was the first one to do it, but so many horror films love to play that trope of like, if we don't fear it, it can't. I'm like,
I
oh boy,
want I want someone to be killed while they're saying that sentence in a movie. That would be great. Just to kill that trope forever.
if we don't fear, oh god, he killed me. Oh, yeah, that was. I remember watching this like time. It hit when he started doing that, and especially like when he gets like the smile on his face and the music rises, and you're like, oh boy, oh god. I'm like, oh yeah, they're playing that card. If you don't fear it, you can't hurt me. It's not how this works.
So
It's
any of
not.
yeah.
Oh god, and it look. I'm not look. You can still pull that trope. You can still pull the like if we don't fear it and it works. If you just have a better film attached, um, or if you just play a little bit like to an extent, without getting there's a certain horror film from this past year, that kind of did a mix on that trope, but the movie was actually really good, and they made that fucking work within the movie. That it was like, oh, okay, it didn't bother me at all. But in this film, it's like, oh, it's like you said, it just feels like they're playing off of prior films. In this case, right, Nightmare on Elm Street, where you're just like, oh, okay, pulling from other shit.
Well, to me, it's also just this movie has been lazy to begin with. And now it's like, I don't really want to write an ending. You just watched Elm Street last night. You're like, fuck it. And they stop believing they win. Let's do that.
Yeah,
As it just reeks of like a complete lack of creativity.
yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it's the case like I said with any trope, right? It can work if done well, but the movie has to be good essentially, and you have to so that if you do commit to the trope, it works. Or if you're willing to kind of play it again, I'm not going to name the movie for those of you. It's a little bit more recent.
When it comes to tropes, though, like I don't want to just. I've seen this all before. I've seen this done. If you're gonna do a typical kind of expected horror trope, put a spin on it. Do something. Make it your own somehow.
So do basically what Smile did is what we're saying. I know you haven't seen it yet, but right, Smile for me as a lot, I know you were championing it more. I watched that and went, my God, I've seen The Ring. What the fuck are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
And I can honestly say, and it's safe to say, it sounds like based off its box office, a lot of people saw it. Thankfully, I was wrong. Yes, it's a familiar concept. We've seen a cursed film before, but like you're saying, it did just enough different, and the writer and director Parker Finn put his own spin on it, um, to make it work and make you invest and get you invested and enjoy the film. He added the element of mental health into the film. That's not spoiling anything. It's in the trailers, so don't freak out on me, anyone. But yeah, like you said, he put a spin on it to make that film engaging, to make it work, to get you involved. And it, for me, as someone who was going to write it off based on a trailer, one of the biggest surprises right now of 2022 for me. So, that worked. This, they don't bother to do any of that.
It's just so hard to be original, especially in horror, that a lot of you got to fall back on some tropes just to keep the audience interested and invested. I get that. But also, if you're talented enough and you believe in the work enough, you can use those to your advantage and make something that's wholly yours. And those are the filmmakers I respect.
Yeah. I mean, with that, for I tell you guys mine, I know you're planning to see Smile soon, and I'm sure once you see it, you'll agree with me. I am really looking forward to what Mr. Parker Finn has up his sleeve if he sticks to horror after seeing Smile. I'm very curious what that guy
Tell me
has.
this. Do you know if he has a background in comedy?
I don't think he does now.
Okay, because it'd be crazy if that happened again.
Right? Yeah, between fucking getting comedy guys to do the recent Halloween films, and then Zach Krieger, for those who don't know, a little show called The Whitest Kids You Know, fucking writing, directing Barbarian, like, and then Jordan Peele. It's like, damn, comedians are just fucking crushing it.
Yeah, it's insane. So, all right, this guy Parker Finn. Okay, no background in comedy, but this is like his first major project. So, still cool. Good guy to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on his box office, I see him getting more work. So hopefully, I mean, if he doesn't stick with horror, and he goes on to do it, I'll still very interested in what he does after seeing Smile. But part of me does hope he stays in horror a bit longer because I did like what he did with Smile. Um, But on that note, I like how we keep basically trying to talk about good films and not and not the Bye Bye Man. Uh but with that, let me talk about my Michael Bay. I kind of cheated because I was trying to pick between the two I had written down. I said, fuck it. Unless Connor takes one of them, I'll just say both of them. Just fuck it. And you didn't actually. So my first one is that this film hastily sets up a bunch of rules that it proceeds to at no point whatsoever, as I talked about with the library scene, bother to follow at all. It at one point it goes from like setting up rules that it doesn't follow to just forgetting it has rules, and everything gets real murky towards the back half of the film.
Yeah, you're right. It's annoying. It's why you don't bother to get invested, because if they're not invested, why the hell am I going to get invested?
Yeah, it's like you start to get to the point where you're like, well, wait, what are we establishing with this guy when it comes to like what I need to expect? One of the things that any good, any film, I'm not going to say horror, but obviously horror big time, right? Is rules are going to be established that you have to follow. Now, a lot of filmmakers will talk about that. Can you break those rules? Absolutely. But the key is you have to establish them first. You have to set them up, and you have to show that you're willing to commit to them to then say, we're breaking this one, right? Obviously, a more recent example, without spoiling the film for those who haven't seen it yet, Barbarian. That's Zach Krager set up his rules. He clearly understood his rules, and he then went out of his way to say, now I'm going to break some stuff. But if you watch it, and you'll get what I mean, it never feels like the film's getting lost at that point or getting murky. You still feel like when he breaks it, you're still in the hands of a capable writer director that knows what is happening next.
That's true. In this case, I do not feel that. I feel like somebody capitalizing on the success of films like Sinister and Insidious and The Babadook and like creepy, ghouls and shit, and just hoping people get on board.
Yeah. It just felt like they were just like, let's just coat and then hope that people get on board. Which, again, the only reason on board the box office it did get was because it was January. There's nothing else out. But those who watched it were like, this sucks.
I don't want to eat the stale crackers, but if I'm out of food, I'm eating the stale crackers. That doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy it. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. So that was the first one I had. And the second one, those who like the slasher or any horror film known to man, when you think Jason, when you think Michael, Freddy, Chucky, hell, even goddamn Leprechaun. What if I say those names, right? And you're a film buff, you know anything about horror, even fucking Pumpkinhead. Tell me, all those names that I mentioned, did a good chunk of those just pop into your head? How they look, right? Their image.
Yeah.
Because they're ingrained in you, where it'd be someone like obviously Jason, he was a pop culture phenom, or even if you're a horror fan, you say Pumpkinhead, and everyone just immediately you just go to Stan Winston's image he put on screen for us to enjoy for all these years. So I'm saying this because the look of your creature is very, very important to your horror film. And that's why the second one I put was the goddamn look of this creature and that horrendous CGI dog. Who thought? It's like they just went up to Doug Jones and went, okay, look, man, we're going to put on like some pants, a shirt, and a hoodie. We're calling it a day. That's it. That's your look.
I feel like Doug Jones, got up, went to work, went to the makeup trailer wearing pants and a hoodie, and they're like, oh my God, that's perfect. And he's like, no, what? No.
This is why I came in to be comfortable. I put makeup on me. You guys know I'm Doug Jones, right?
It's so lazy. It is remarkably lazy, especially since, the whole movie is build up to this entity. Like I was hoping at least that would be something to see. But no, it's just Doug Jones with like some makeup that looks like it could be put on in a half hour and a hoodie he brought from home.
Yeah. I fucking hate that this is like was within the same weekend I watched Smile, which had a build up throughout of like, what the fuck does this thing actually look like? And guess what? That film, when you see it, pays off tremendously in its look. Me, a seasoned horror fan, I was a little unsettled. I'll say it. I wanted that thing off the screen. It was creeping me out.
It's good to know.
Yeah, and then that's only one form. You see like several forms. Yeah, it's a batshit ending. I hate that I got that on Friday just to then turn around and watch this and go, oh, this is what happens when you don't care about the look of your character. And then I'm thinking, like, well, he has the dog, right? Maybe the dog's gonna look badass. It is so fucking clearly CGI'd, and you're like, ah, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, the dog was so unnecessary. It never does anything.
No. And you want to know how fake this dog looked? For those who probably have listened for a while, know that I have an issue with my dog. That if he sees an animal, specifically a dog on screen, he gets really close to my TV because he can be the only dog around me. At no point did he give two shits about this one on the screen. At no point did I see my dog get up and try to get to the TV. He just was like, yeah, that's clearly not real.
Even your dog was like figured out that wasn't a dog. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a lazy design. Like the movie did, I can tell you right now, I'm never gonna say it. I'm never gonna think it. This is the last time that I'm ever gonna really have this movie in my life at all.
Oh yeah, now that I've gotten this out of the way on the show, there's no third watch.
No, this is it. Ugh.
As a single man having fun, if any woman ever is like, do you want to watch the Bye Bye Man? It's one of my favorite movies. I'm leaving or kicking her out, depending on the location of the place.
I would love if it was at your place and you just left. You were so pissed. You're like, I don't even want to be here. And you just took off.
I leave. I come back in. I forgot my dog. I just grabbed my dog. Come on. I'm not subjecting you to this.
You leave. You go get a beer. You come back 2 hours later. She's still there. She's finishing the movie. She's decided to watch it. Oh.
God.
So, was there anything positive about this movie? Let's find out.
Well, let's find out. I was about to ask you because let's move on to a silver lining. Let's see if we could come up with anything. Arlene, obviously, I know what I put, but I'm curious on what you were able to pull from this film.
I okay, so I did have originally the scene where he plows into the librarian because I thought that was funny. But I decided to rethink my thing. I went with the opening sequence where Larry just starts gunning down his neighbors. Because
did we put the same thing?
If you put that sequence,
yes, I did.
There it is. It's the one good part of the movie where you don't know what's going on. You just know this guy took out a rifle or a shotgun and starts killing everybody he loves, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? It's a good opening. It's like it's part of a different movie.
Yes, and I even put in my notes like the film never. It's an opening which is I put this is what I wrote it as. It's creepy, intriguing, and promises an enjoyable horror film, which the film never delivers on afterwards. That's how I wrote it. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's funny. A lot of people like to bitch about Blade Runner's acting because for those who don't know, like obviously he's been in a lot of James Bond's. Him and James Bond are buddies. And he popped up obviously in the first Saw. He's in the Insidious films. I'm sure I don't know if he's going to be in the 5th one coming out next year or not. But he pops up and stuff. And people like to bitch about his acting. It's kind of like when Rob, it always pops up when Rob Zombie film comes out, right? Everyone bitches about Sherry Me Zombie. It's kind of the same thing I see with this. Like everyone's like, he's not even that good. But fuck that. I think he's fucking excellent in this opening scene.
Yeah, if Rob Zombie can put his wife in his movies, so can James Wan.
Yeah. It's not his wife, it's his buddy, but yes.
I know. For me, like when it comes to his acting, it's just that one scene where he like fakes the poisoning and Saw. That's it for me. I don't mind anything else, but that bit I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, and even then, I've always kind of chalked that up as that he's acting as if he's, you know what I mean? Like he's acting as if he's dying. So it's like,
I know it's so ridiculous.
It's really ridiculous, but that's why I try to judge it to not laugh sometimes. But yeah, I don't think he's that bad. Obviously we've learned he's a fucking powerhouse director. But I don't think he's that bad. I actually really like him when I see his films. He cracks me up. And I think he is the only one delivering anything in this movie. Like this whole, like you said, this whole opening scene when you just see him pull up and he's like, "Did you say it? Did you say his name?" And you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he's like, he just the way he just turns around and is like, "I'm real sorry about that. I have to do this." And he pulls the shot. You're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then like the way he just like the camera follows him walking across the street, he's just going, "Don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say." It's the only time that that them repeating it's actually effective in my opinion. Um,
With that opening, I kept thinking like, I think people might have misjudged this movie. This looks like it's going to be awesome, and then it wasn't at all. Yeah, it was. It's weird. You don't see that happen a lot where the opening's like, oh, this is amazing, and then the rest of the movie is absolute horseshit.
yeah, you know what's funny? It's I've seen people like when they do their reviews, like again that YouTuber that did the funny skit. He does his where he does like he talks about the pros, what he found, what he was mixed on, the negatives, and his his overall thoughts. Um, that was his one pro. He's like the only pro guy for this film is this opening scene. He goes, I don't know who shot this scene, but it feels like a completely different fucking movie than what I got.
Yeah, straight up. That's my thoughts exactly.
Yeah, this is and I have seen kind of across the board from a lot of people that a lot of people seem to be on a unanimous agreement that like the opening scene's great and the rest of the film is dog shit. And yeah, it's like what happened? Like this opening scene sets up something that's going to be like, oh shit, what is this movie I'm about to watch? And oh boy, do we quickly dovetail right after.
Yeah, it's weird. Ah, damn shame.
Yeah, but wow, I think that's a first for us to have the same silver lining. I think that's happened yet.
Well, I don't know. I don't save any of this stuff.
I data dump like crazy. As soon as those shows, I'm like, whoo, I have issues, this, remembering what we're doing on the following show. Like the following week. I'm always like, you always ask me, what are we doing next week? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
As soon as I record an episode, anything I have associated with that episode is wiped clean to make room for the next episode.
Yeah. I can't I can't tell you what we're doing next week because I'm so focused on the episode at hand. And as soon as I get done with the episode at hand, I'm like, I don't know what I said anymore. And I don't listen to the shows I'm on because I just don't I'm like that actor that doesn't watch their own stuff because they hate the sound of their voice. That's me. I can't do it.
I used to listen to all of our stuff, and then we started doing too much stuff, and I got backed up, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go through all that, and that was like 100 episodes ago. So,
nah. I've only ever done the films that if I'm not on it and it's a film I have seen.
Yeah, that's good. I've obviously seen all of them because I'm on every show.
Yeah, you need to work on taking a vacation there, buddy. Oh wait.
Yep, give it a couple weeks.
Yeah, you better get your vacation. Unless you have more to add to this illustrious film, we can move on to our favorite little segment of what's in the box.
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
So I'm pretty sure we are setting a new record of the lowest scored film we've covered on this show yet. On Letterboxd, The Bye Bye Man is rocking 1.5 out of 5 stars.
Oh my god,
that is rough. I think Green Lantern might have been the last. I think that was like 1.7 out of 5. I think that was the last really rough one we got to. So here we go. Bye Bye Man's the one to beat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here are 5 reviews.
I don't like how we beat our own record on this show when it comes to like the numbers. That means we watched something even worse.
Oh, I've looked at this at the potentials list. There's always room to go lower.
Other shows aim higher. We aim lower on Beyond the Bad.
Yeah, this is an entire hour and a half to 2 hours of just slumming it every week, of just watching the dregs of Hollywood. And we do it for your entertainment pleasure. So we hope you enjoyed this show. Because I hope at least one person out there listens to this one. It'll justify all of our hard work for this nonsense. Here's number 1. This is from Ty. Expected to see a cameo of NSYNC's song Bye 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 somewhere throughout this film. Opportunity missed. 1 star. Yeah, I'm with you, Ty. That would have been, I don't know about great, but it would have been memorable.
That song is way too good for this movie.
This
I'll
movie
say it right now.
A 90s boy band shout out.
Bye, 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 bye. Yeah, that song is so much better than this movie. That's right. I know that song. I used to jam to NSYNC before I got into like the music I got into.
It would have been even funnier. There is an NSYNC song, but it's Rock Your Body.
Rock your body.
They don't even use Bye Bye Bye. All right. This next one. This is from Caleb with a K. So some Mortal Kombat variant of you out there.
I was like, not this, Caleb.
The thing that scares me the most about this movie is how someone came up with that title, thought about it, and decided, yeah, that sounds good. 1 star. Yeah. This might be the worst titled film I've ever heard of. The Bye Bye Man. It literally sounds like some Mother Goose bullshit you'd hear on like the Teletubbies.
I don't know if I want DVD called Things, so not a great title either.
This next one is my personal favorite. It's from Sam Cohn. 3-time Academy Award nominee Faye Dunaway. Half a star. That's it. Just pointing out she's in this.
Oh, that's good.
Oh. All right. I love this one too. This is from Jess Svensgaard. One of the horror films ever made. 5 stars. Of all the horror movies ever made, The Bye Bye Man is one of them. No one can argue that.
It's a horror film. Yes, it is.
Oh, boy. And this last one's from Annabelle. 2 words. List of alternate names my brother gave the Bye Bye Man while watching this awful movie. The Farewell Fellow. The Goodbye Guy. The Sayonara Senor. 1 star. I would 100% watch The Sayonara Senor.
I was like, I really like the last one.
Bye Bye Man shows up in a sombrero with a Latin mustache and a chihuahua. Movie immediately jumps up 5 points.
That or the Farewell Fellow. I just feel like he has to be like really sophisticated.
He's in like a 3-piece suit, British like a monocle. He's got a bulldog. Farewell chap. Yeah.
And what was the other one? You said the Goodbye Guy?
Goodbye Guy. And that's just like some tie-dyed Matthew McConaughey dude.
Yeah. He just keeps going, all right, all right, all right.
Well, that's what's in the box. There's very little love for this movie. Everyone was basically like, I fell asleep or I didn't finish it.
Yeah. Was there any, like, did you see any actual positive reviews on me? Like, I like this movie.
Some of them, but they're mostly just like pretty sarcastic and like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is a good movie. It's people who just like, you know, shave against the grain because they think it makes them look exciting.
Those people.
Yeah. Ugh. Contrarians, I think they're called.
I believe so. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. I don't want to give them power.
Good idea.
Hey, don't think it, don't say it. Am I right?
There you go.
Yes. All right. On that note, let's do some the social media cleanup and reveal what's going on next week in our shows. Or this week in some cases, because of when we come out. Before I reveal what next week's episode is, be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under FILMGAZM Productions. If you want to shoot us a recommendation, feel free to email us at filmgasm@gmail.com. If you'd like to donate and support us in that way, you can find us on Anchor. Finally, feel free to get on our site, filmgasm.com, for reviews, trailers, articles, and all of our episodes. Next week, we'll be looking at a horror icon's more reviled bit of work he put out in his later career. Not his last film, but it almost was. The Wes Craven film, My Soul to Take.
I know nothing about this movie. When we were doing our Wes Craven like ranking thing on the sneak preview, this is one that you pretty much told me like don't bother.
Yeah, it's not a highly, or it doesn't even have like the kind of like the cult backing that like Curse does, because that has at least its production history to kind of support why people back it. It's like it. But I wanted to put a horror icons film in the month for October, and by then I want to do something we didn't do a lot of, so it's pretty much like tossing between him and John Carpenter. So we've done quite a bit of their work. I just also went Wes Craven. I don't know why, it just felt right. So who knows? John Carpenter. Sorry, you might be on the docket for next year.
Hope you did Ghost of Mars.
I think. Oh yeah, that's why. I think that's why I was like, well, we already did a John Carpenter film, so let me do this. I had reasons for like each film I picked, by the way, for October to do it. This one was just to do something that was quote unquote original, but bad. So yeah, Wes Craven film I Soul to Take. Join us on that one. On FILMGAZM, we'll be having a debate, probably more than likely, at the once forgotten but now beloved by a lot of horror fans, and in my opinion, rightly so, third installment in one of horror's most prominent franchises, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I doubt a lot of what I think is going to change here, but that's what I said before we did Texas Chainsaw 2. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't want to get my hopes up in the hopes that like, what, Texas Chainsaw 2 changed. I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna keep my expectations low. I've just learned to keep them low. Because you just disappoint me sometimes. But on that note, on Oscar Sunday, they'll be looking at the honestly really good. I've seen it myself, quite enjoy it. Boxing drama, The Fighter.
Yeah, we're doing a big spotlight on Christian Bale. Going to do our top 5 Christian Bale performances. We were doing this in honor of Amsterdam, which we intended to see, but that is getting eviscerated by critics, and I'm probably going to pass.
Yeah, I actually thought the trailer looked pretty good to that, and I know David O. Russell is like a fucking maniac behind the camera, but I personally did actually quite enjoyed Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, and he did The Fighter, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I was like, he did The Fighter, yeah. So I've enjoyed what he's done, and I was like, when I saw the trailer for that, I'm like, oh, okay, I like his past movies. This actually looked pretty good, but yeah, I noticed that it's getting like destroyed. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it belongs here more than any of our other shows. I was not expecting that. So maybe in a year or two we might do Amsterdam.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. So yeah, I was actually kind of looking forward to it, and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, but with that, obviously, you guys talking about The Fighter. So again, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a solid film, film with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg, Amy Adams, and it to quote, it fucks. To say an old saying, it fucks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I do quite enjoy that movie. So until then, just remember, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it. Bye-bye, man. See you next week on Beyond the Bad.